tell the whole story again and explain that.
Right. Before the museum opened, a lot of the exhibits hadn't, of course, been installed yet, and one of the things I was able to help install was the Roy Nobenschuh aircraft, or lighter than air aircraft, actually. I helped install that with Tom Crouch, who was a gentleman who now works at or he's retired from the Smithsonian, but he's a gentleman who put the exhibit program together. The Nobenschuh craft was kind of the forerunner of the Goodyear blimp, but it was much simpler than that. It was a frame that was, I'm thinking, about 40 to 50 feet long, a rectangular shaped frame, and above it would be a balloon envelope that looked almost like the same shape as the Goodyear blimp. And the gentleman who designed this, a Roy Nobenschuh from Toledo, Ohio, he would set on that, and it was driven through the air by an old Indian motorcycle engine with a propeller. If he wanted to go up, he'd walk to the back of it. If he wanted to go down, he'd walk to the front, and there was a rudder in the back with 2 ropes that he used to steer it by pulling left or right. And he'd go to various fairs and so forth, but he was from Toledo, Ohio, and that's where he designed and flew this craft frequently.
What are the must-see artifacts in the museum?
Oh, I think the thing you really have to see is the moon rock. I think that is the most intriguing and most interesting. Yes, indeed, it is a real moon rock. We've been asked the question, did someone go out and pick that up in your backyard? No, it is sealed in a glass enclosure with nitrogen, which kind of protects it so that the Earth's atmosphere isn't in there. There's nitrogen inside of it. It was picked up by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin during the first landing on the moon. The museum is quite lucky to have the moon rock on display, because a lot of places have moon rocks, but we happen to have one from Apollo 11. And it is the real deal. There's no question about it. And one of the reasons you can tell it's the real deal, if you were to examine this, there is no oxygen in the moon rock, whereas all the rocks here on Earth, because there's oxygen on Earth, if you were to examine them quite closely, you would notice there is oxygen molecules, but there are none in this moon rock.
What would happen to the rock if the Earth's atmosphere got to like oxygen and not nitrogen?
Nothing. They took, I think, all missions from Apollo 11 to Apollo 17 brought back about 850 pounds of moon rocks, and those were sent around the world for scientists to examine. So they have examined them. It's my understanding they've even crushed some of the rocks up in some of the dust, and they were able to, grow some small plants in the moon rock once it was introduced to the oxygen atmosphere and added water to them. But that's kind of, that's the reason they're different, because there's no oxygen on the moon's surface.